as it follows. We are supposed to calculate first the new pivot element values. Just like the procedure that we had used for calculating the simplex in the simplex method, for all the other elements the calculation is also similar. For example, the other element in this particular position to be written now is calculated as old element minus its entering column coefficient. So entering column coefficient of this particular column is 1, old element is 1. I'm going to write it here. The old element is 1 minus, open the bracket, entering column coefficient of that particular column, sorry, that particular row is 1, multiplied by the new pivot element in this column is 1. So therefore 1 minus 1 will become 0. Okay, similarly, if I have to write for this particular cell here, the old element in this position is 4, open the bracket, the entering column coefficient of that particular row is again 4, multiplied by the new pivot element is 1, so therefore it becomes 0. Okay, so similarly I'm gonna simply write the other values. Okay, after filling up all the values of this cell, again we are supposed to calculate the z equation values. Before we calculate the z equation values, observe once again that s1, a1, x1 and the corresponding values here with respect to x1 is 0, 0, 1, a1, s1 it is 1, 0, 0, a1 it is 0, 1, 0. So while filling up this cell, even without calculating this unit matrix, with certain amount of practice we can right away write the values of this particular matrix as a unit matrix. Now the z equation values needs to be written, so I have already calculated. I am simply writing this. Okay, so we have written the z equation values for the second table now, and here we have 0 minus 5m plus 1 divided by 3, 0 m, 0, 7m minus 2 divided by 3 are the values of the z equation elements. Now here among these values we are supposed to consider only those cells which consists of negative sign, and select that cell, that particular column as the entering column which consists of the largest possible value with a negative sign. So here we have only one such case, so therefore here x2 will become the entering column. Okay, similar to the earlier procedure, we now need to calculate the ratios. So ratios are calculated as RHS divided by the entering column coefficient. So 3 divided by 5 by 3, 2 divided by 5 by 3, so it gives us 6 by 5, and 1 divided by 1 by 3, which gives us 3. So the least possible value amongst all of these things is 6 by 5. So therefore I'm going to consider this consider this 6.5 as the leaving row. Okay, moving on to the next table. S1 is not yet replaced, so therefore S1 will still remain in the solution space. A1 is now to be replaced. A1 is now decided as the leaving row, so therefore in the place of A1 the entering column, that is x2, takes the place, and I'm going to call this x2 as the new pivot element, and x1 has not been replaced, so therefore x1 remains same. And the next row is about z equation values. Okay, so to start filling up the table, again we start with the coefficient of these variables in the objective function. So therefore coefficient of s1 in the objective function is 0, x2 is -1, and x1 is -2. Again, of all the cells that needs to be filled up here, in this case we are supposed to first fill the new pivot elements. So new pivot element for this third table is supposed to be filled. For all the elements of this third table is to be filled by looking into the values that is available in the just completed table. So therefore here the new pivot element for this particular third table is calculated as old element divided by the key element. So old element here in this particular position was 0, and the key element is 5 by 3. 0 divided by 5 by 3, I'm going to give a value called as 0. Similarly, the next pivot element is 1, 0, minus 3 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5, so minus 4 by 5, and 6 by 5. Okay, so the new pivot elements are calculated by using the relation old element divided by key element. Then the remaining other elements needs to be filled up just as the procedure that we have already used. So the values, so therefore will become okay. Kindly use this particular procedure that we have used in this particular table to calculate the new pivot element values as well as the other element values. Okay, now upon completion of these elements of the matrix, we are supposed to calculate the z equation values. So z equation values have already been calculated, so therefore the values are okay. Now since the z equation values here, all of them, they're all positive, that is 0, 0, 0, 1 by 5, m minus 1 by 5, m minus 2 by 5. Since there are no negative values here in the z equation elements, we have reached the solution stage, and the solutions are s1 is equal to 1, that is the RHS, x2 is equal to 6 by 5, and x1 is equal to 3 by 5. Substitute all of these values in either of the equation that we had written to start with. Either in this equation or in this equation, the value that you get for the z is the most optimal values. Now the condition that needs to be remembered while solving Bingham method is when we reach the solution stage, that is this particular stage, and if there's an artificial variable that is present at the basic variable column, then the solution is declared as infeasible solution. I'll repeat once again. If you have reached the solution stage and if there are artificial variables present in the basic variable column, then we declare that the solution is infeasible. Okay, I suppose if the explanation is understood by all of you, I request all of you to kindly make note of a few questions and you can solve it. The third most important concept in operational research, that also while dealing with the linear programming problem, is the case of duality. which I'm going to teach you in the next video.